So Andrew Berry was asked earlier this week how the run game might evolve from the bye week and moving forward.
We largely started off as a wide zone under center team. And as the run game has evolved, largely with, the players that we had up front, and then obviously having an all-world back in Nick, our run game has been really diverse. We've done a lot more, gap scheme. Obviously, when we got Deshaun, we added a QB run element. So over the past 4 years, we really have a pretty broad menu to draw from. So probably the short answer to your question is, I think we're going to be able to be, multiple, moving forward based on the opponent. How we look in the run game versus, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, that really had to change, when we played Tennessee, which was arguably one of the best run fronts, in the league. It was really, we tried to have more of a perimeter game perhaps without as much success, and then you pivot to the passing game. So for us, it's not necessarily about, okay, hey, we're only going to do this. We have to be variable enough that we can adapt to our opponent.
So game plan specific. Okay, I get that. What do you see them adding coming out of the bye? Clearly, as we've said, you don't have Nick Chubb. You cannot run the same game with the guys that you have who are not named Nick Chubb.
Here's the problem with the offense. Dave, if I had to ask you, what is this offense's bread and butter or what's their staple? Do you think you could come up with the answer to that question? Not
a clue. And it's what we said about the defense last year. What's its identity?
Mm-hmm. What do they go to when the chips? I've made this point before the season. Hey, what's the plan on 3rd and 5? Right? Because 3rd and 5 in the NFL, that's where you figure out what you feel like you're the best at, what you feel like you cannot be stopped at. You see Mike Tomlin teams, they will always run a rub concept, a pick play on 3rd down. No doubt in my mind, they will, whenever they need a 3rd down, I promise you it's going to be a pick play, or they're going to try to fullback dive. That's what they're going to do. That's their bread and butter. They love those kind of concepts, designs on defense, because they know they see a lot of man. The Browns, for a while, the staple was play action, boot. We're going to throw this ball deep to the tight ends, deep, middle, high, all that stuff, and then Nick Chubb run. That used to be the staple, but the game's changed. You can't live off that anymore. Too many teams have ran it, right? Too many guys are familiar. So that can't be how you build your bread and butter. So what Kevin Stefanski and this offense needs to figure out is, what's that new bread and butter? Is it going to be some RPO stuff? Is it going to be, it can't be inside zone. That's not going to be bread and butter worthy. But what's it going to be? What concepts do they feel like they can just dominate with right now? Because all I'm seeing is kind of basic stuff. Yeah, they run stick on 3rd and 5. Maybe they run a slant or something like that. But it's not anything to where I feel like they feel really good about. And this team has been bad in 3rd and mid situations. So that's what they need to figure out between the Stefanski and Deshaun Watson and his offense. Who's the go-to? Is it going to be Coop? Are we 3rd and 5? Who are we drawing stuff up for? Is it Coop? I don't know yet, right? It's been between Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper. Who are we drawing up stuff for? Who's our guy? Who are we going to be hey, we're trying to get him open. We're going to focus on it. None of this feels like it's there right now, right? There's the end around stuff, the Elijah Moore, and there's the cutesy screens here that we could do in the backdoor trick play stuff, but that's not an identity. That's just gimmicks. They need an identity. They need to figure out who they are. What do they rely on? Who are they going to lean on? Part of that is reps. Deshaun's really had 2 full games as a Cleveland Brown this year. I mean, the Cincinnati game counts, but it rained. Nobody could throw the ball. Whatever. You have 2 games of him throwing the football to really look at. So it's not a complete picture. So we just need to see it. What's the plan here? Where are they going? What's going to be the go-to for them on 3rd down? What's going to be the go-to in the red zone? Who do they trust? Who do they not trust? Who do they trust in certain situations? Where's David Njoku fit into this, right? Where do the running backs fit into this picture? There's too many questions right now, and that's not great. And you want to have those questions answered. But right now we have questions about if the quarterback's who we think he is. We have questions about what's going on with the offense. We have questions about the offensive line, and it's not the greatest place to be in the world. So they have to figure these things out. They got to figure out what this identity is, what their plan is going forward, who's going to be in what spots, and what guys are they going to really lean on, right? Nick Chubb's not coming through those double doors, running through that tunnel anymore. Who are you leaning on now? What are you leaning on with what plays? We don't know that. We need to see it. So far, I haven't seen anything that even looks like an answer. So I want to see that coming after the bye. Need to see it after the bye.